Happy Sunday, everybody. My name is Scott Mendenhall. So glad you are here with us. It is going to be a beautiful day. The sun is shining in Minnesota. The camera angles have changed, so our switchers got to catch up. I am joined with Lily Arnold.
Almost said
Wiener. It's hard to get over.
Morning.
That was her former name. And then we also have Mr. Dwayne, who is on his way to becoming a one-wheel pro. He's got a trip planned with his family.
Surprising
he's
all
taking
of
a
us.
one-wheel. He's going to be riding all over Arkansas. How we doing, Dwayne?
Good. Just follow my steps to shred, right?
Oh, steps to shred. You can tell he had that one packed in his arsenal.
Like it didn't.
I didn't. That was off the top of my head.
Wow.
Dwayne,
then that was
so
it.
Cool.
We spent all of his brain power today to be right.
Steps to shred.
I'm done.
Rock and
the rest
roll.
of the time we need to give him space. So if you're brand new around here, on this YouTube channel, we really try to inspire people to make changes in their life for the better. We think that, again, putting your hope in Jesus Christ will make your life better and make you better at life. Those two things are pre-packaged in a relationship with Jesus. So we talk a lot about that today. Not with just thoughts of our own, but we try to come with from our educational side, our experience side, and what other people say to give us information to make an educated decision about putting our hope in Jesus. So today, we're in a hope series. This world needs hope. We're trying to get where people, Lily, will transfer their hope because we got our hope built in something.
Yes. There's lots of things I think our hope is built into.
And so we want to take that and put it in something that will last forever. And so that's the hopes today. Finding real answers to my struggles. How do I transfer what I currently am putting my hope into and putting it into real stuff that matters? So that's what we're going to get to here in a little bit. But we always like to have a little bit of fun. Yesterday we filmed a big race here at the studios of Unlock Church and Scott Mendenhall and Friends. We call it Last One of Their Standings. It's going to be the curriculum for our camp that's happening in like 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Is it 3 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's a free summer camp available for anyone
tomorrow.
That wants to come locally here in Minnesota, or if you want to fly in, it's called Unlock Summer Camp. It's so good. We even have an image for you that I know that Legend is so ready to click on because he's paying attention, but he's scrolling right now to try to find it. Panic City is ensued for that guy. There it is, Unlock Summer Camp. Sign up now, baby. June 24th, 28th, 2024. It's going to be awesome. We've finished the planning, right, Lil?
Yeah, it's underway, and it's going to be a really great week.
It is. We're really excited to debut new challenges, new games, new themes, all kinds of stuff. So get to it. In that video we shot yesterday, we'll drop then. Okay, Dwayne, what season is this? Let's see if you nail this. This is just a quiz, okay? What season is this? May, at the end of May, beginning of June. In the world of students, what is typically the thing that's happening right now? See if he gets it.
Summer vacation?
Okay, what happens before that, though?
For some of them.
Graduation.
Hey, it only took him 2 guesses. Well done. I'd say you did really good there.
Steps to shred.
Steps to shred, baby. You gotta go. You gotta go. It's great. It's great. Okay, before we get to that, but your steps to shred, we want to know.
What are the steps?
No, you got a helmet, you got some wrist guards, you got some stuff, or what's going on?
Got a cool helmet. Got the pads.
Wrist guards?
Wrist guards? I do.
Okay, that's
knee
all.
pads?
For sure.
Knee pads are optional.
Oh, they are important.
They're not optional. Wrist guards and helmet, kind of the essentials. The rest is, if your knees are wiener needs, then you gotta have. No, I'm just messing.
Yeah, I'd be tearing those up.
Okay. So you got some pads. You're gonna go hit some trails. Can't wait to. You better have Elizabeth or Harley take some videos of this.
Yes, please.
So we can see that. We'd even accept some video footage if Marshall was to record you, but we feel that it would be more on him than you. But nonetheless, he's pretty fun to watch too.
Just give him a 360, and I can,
Oh yeah.
I can control where the camera's pointed in.
See. Steps to shred. Get a 360 camera so that you catch everything. Well done. Well done.
Dwayne.
Well done. If you're noticing a change in our setup and cameras and stuff, we had to disassemble the cameras yesterday to film the said race that we are speaking of. So now they are in different spots. So we ourselves are even getting used to them. Lily's like, the camera seems so much closer all of a sudden.
The other one does, yeah.
Yeah, they're a bit closer. It gives us more space in the office as well. So, but it is graduation season, and I don't know if we have any graduates watching right now, but we thought we'd give you some graduate wisdom. First, we're going to start with in studio, and then we have a great video put together of some wisdom. Lily, what is some like just funny wisdom you would give to a graduating senior? I don't want serious because that's later, but what would be a funny thing that's true, but it's funny? What would you say?
I mean, I don't know how funny it is, but call your family. Like
That's not funny.
Weekly. Yeah, but it's not like the wisdom I might give that helps you follow Jesus. But like call your family. Don't just go and be like, I'm out of here.
Okay, fair enough. That's real
Wait
life.
till you see what happens. I
Wait.
mean, good stuff happens.
Okay.
It's true.
Okay.
You're gonna
So
need
graduate seniors, Lily's wisdom for you that was supposed to be funny is call your parents. That could be laughable for your situation. I don't know. Dwayne, we're going with you. What would you say to graduate seniors, the piece of advice, wisdom that you would like to give them? You're like, you should do this.
Hide your food if you're going to college.
Hide
From your roommates.
Now that's what I'm
Yes.
saying.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying right there. That's genius. Okay. Mine would be along the lines of what you're saying, along the lines of hide your food, drink water. Okay, just because you're out there and all of a sudden you can go buy your cappuccinos and frappuccinos and Mountain Dew and just drink. Don't just drink that. Stop once in a while, have some water, or you're gonna find yourself feeling sick most of the time. That's it. Drink some. Hydrate yourself. Freedom doesn't mean stupidity, though that's what happens typically. But okay, what we have is graduate nuggets of wisdom. Okay, this is going to be an enjoyable video for you. This is going to be a video where you are going to learn some nugget of wisdoms because what we just gave you, maybe you're like, man, you know, another great wisdom. Dwayne, do you remember that song that was, I think it's called the Sunscreen song? Remember that? He starts out with, now I'm going to dispense. You don't know the Sunscreen song? Come on, somebody has to know it. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm going to even look up. Lily is attending to something. So I'm going to be the Googler right now. And it's called Wear Sunscreen, okay? And so we're going to look at the lyrics of, this is his, if I could offer you only one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. That's how he starts this song. A long-term benefit of sunscreen has been proven by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice has no basis or reliability. Now, my own Mandarin experiences, I will dispense the advice now. So he says this: enjoy the power and beauty of your youth. Oh, never mind. You will not understand the power and beauty of your youth until they faded. But trust me, in 20 years, you'll look back at photos of yourself and recall in a way you can't grasp now how much possibility lays before you and how fabulous you really look. You are not as fat as you imagined.
It's so good. If you never heard it, you
really-
gotta go Google it. It's so good.
Then
they're like floss.
Yeah, so then the next one,
Dance.
don't worry about the future or worry, but know that worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubble gum. The real troubles in your life are apt to be things that never crossed your mind, your worried mind, the kind that blindside you at 4 p.m. on some idle Tuesday. Do one thing every day that scares you. Saying don't be reckless with other people's hearts. Don't put up with people who are reckless with yours. Floss. Don't waste your time on jealousy. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind. The race is long, and in the end, it's only with yourself. Remember, compliments you receive, forget the insults. If you succeed in doing this, tell me how. Keep your old love letters. Throw away your old bank statements. Stretch. Okay, I could keep going on. I can't believe you've never heard that song, Dwayne.
I think it's Boz Lerman did created a song to it.
Yeah,
so.
He's talking in it nonetheless. Just go listen to it. But here is our video to you today for the graduates, and maybe somebody that you're like, hey, I don't no one in my house right now is graduating, but so you can copy paste as a link to somebody and they can watch this. Here is a way to put a smile on your face in this season of graduation, as this Sunday we're honoring our graduates. Here we go. Graduate nuggets of
Tommy
wisdom.
and
Check this.
Eddie here. We would just like to share some words of wisdom with the graduating class. It seems that a chapter in your life is closing and now a new one opens.
And over the years, there have been so many great graduation speeches. We'd like to just condense those down for you and give you just the great nuggets. These nuggets may have the power to change your life.
Yep, the world may call them cliches. We like to call them words that transcend the human ellipse of time.
No, I just think we'll stick to nuggets of life. I think that's really good.
Mine is so much better. Wait, let's call them life nuggets.
That's basically what I just said.
It's really not. The first one is this: eat your vegetables. Seems like your mother was right.
Yeah, you'll feel better, you'll go to the restroom more, and that beta carotene may just save your life. Here's another one. When it comes to praise or criticism from other people, treat it like chewing gum. Chew it, see if there's any truth in there, but don't swallow the gum of praise or criticism.
That's true. Scientists have proven that swallowed criticism or praise will stay in your digestive tract for 7 years.
Here's another one. Wherever you go, there you are.
No, that is just like a cliche that your uncle says at a family reunion.
Okay. What about this? Live, love, and laugh.
Yeah, I saw that one coming a mile away. That is cliche as don't drink, smoke, or chew, or go with girls that do.
Okay, all right. Here's one. When it comes to your future, don't sit there and worry about it. Worrying is like a rocking chair. It'll let you do something for a little bit, but it'll get you nowhere.
Yes, but if that is true, Cracker Barrel's been promoting worry for years. Here's one for you. Dance the paso doble, even if by yourself.
I think they call that the pasa single.
Oh, good to know.
Here's something. When people ask you, so what do you want to be when you grow up? Don't fret if you don't know the answer. There's a lot of 30-year-olds that don't have the answer to that yet.
But don't be that 30-year-old that is still sleeping on their parents' couch.
That is so true. You know what? Go ahead and take out a pen and paper right now and write your parents an IOU.
Yeah, I owe you a couch, preferably one without Cheeto stain.
When you fast forward the tape 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed with the things that you didn't do than the things that you did. So take some chances.
Maybe you could make this your life prayer. God, help my character catch up with your blessings.
And realize nothing in your life has taken God by surprise. It says it in His Word, Proverbs 16, verse 9, that man may make his plans, but God will direct the path.
And listen, God has given you everything you need to be the person He created you to be. So what are you waiting for? Get out there and be who He created you to be.
So go in blessings, go out there with your life, and go in peace. Realize who you belong to and take His story and make history.
And if you don't remember anything else that we told you, please heed this. Eat your vegetables. It's really good for you.
All right, congratulations to the class of 2024.
Woo!
Despite Dan Woodham in the chat saying 99 was the best, the year of Y2K.
What year did you graduate? High school?
Like the 70s.
No, you did not.
60s?
Dwayne, what about you? Since you'll
2005.
2005.
2005. Nice.
Really?
2013.
2013.
Yep.
99.
Mm-hmm.
Party like it's
And how about
1999. 1964.
Ew.
What are you?
You're
Why you gotta
so
hate?
silly.
I haven't graduated yet. It's in the future.
Everyone's putting their graduation date in the chat. That's so fun.
1980. 80. The minute I see 1980, I just think of Back to the Future every time. I don't know why, but I just do. Okay, let's see. Whoever has and it's got to be legitified here, or legitimate. Who's got the? Mine is 1964. Anyone graduate before that?
No one believes you.
Well, I didn't ask them. It's not up for debate right now, is it? But I didn't put it in the chat. 1964. Anybody going for that? When would my mom have graduated? Is she in there today? 04. Elizabeth 04. Sometimes I forget how young these people are. 04. I was married by 04. That's crazy talk. All right. So it'll be fun to see that as we go through the 06.
Wait, you graduated high school in 2005, Dwayne?
Yes.
And Scott was already married? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. Lily's moving real slow today.
You got married in 2001?
That processing of your
when you got married?
Yeah.
That's wild.
2001, married. but I was young.
Wild.
I mean, I was 22, 21 years old. Mm-hmm. So, young pups. Okay, so that's fun to see everybody's graduating classes of when they got, when they graduated. Collins is in the chat. Collins, when did you graduate high school? This will tip the scale, I think. He's probably 2020, wouldn't you say? Okay, moving on. Thank you for hanging with us today, and hopefully, again, everyone's a little bit nostalgic all of a sudden going back to when they graduated. What was one of the trends when you got graduated, or when you graduated? Lily, what would have been one of the trends, like what to wear or to do your hair? What was the trend? You don't remember?
I mean,
maybe
not really.
What? How do you not remember these things?
There probably
I got
were
one.
trends. Yeah,
Dwayne's coming
I
in.
got
about it.
one.
Oh, let's hear it, Dwayne.
PT Cruisers.
PT. I owned one of those. I don't have any regrets.
It was the trend.
Yeah. It was. It
Wow.
was. See, he got in his graduate. I got one right when he
Is
graduated.
it the trend like Tesla is the trend right now? Is that like comparable?
I think so.
For
They
different
were like
reasons.
the new in thing.
Oh my gosh, Elizabeth, I love it.
Yeah, well done. Well done. Lil, how about you?
I don't know. I can't think of anything. But one thing that I loved when I was graduating was my high school had designated parking spots for seniors, and you got to paint your parking spot curb. And oh man, loved it. I put a dancing hot dog on there in my Instagram handle, which was always Wiener. And it was so cute. I got to post a picture of it sometime soon.
That's hilarious.
It was like my pride and joy, and it was right in the front. Like, that was such a cool way to honor seniors too. So it was really fun.
Okay. Well, wow. Me when I graduated in 1997, the Olympics had just happened, and Air Jordans were the thing. Like, so when we graduated, because that's all you could really see, is you wanted to make sure you had Jordans on your feet as you went and got your diploma. I did not have Jordans
That's cool.
on, but that was the trend.
That is cool.
Okay, down memory lane we go, folks. I hope you enjoyed that little one. Today we are talking about should we put our hope. I'm going to pose the question, actually. Where is your hope lying today? Now, be real, be authentic. Don't tell me the truth. Don't go, Jesus, because you're on this YouTube channel, because that's just a default answer. I don't want default. I told everybody last week, my kids in the house, when asking the question that has anything to do with any spirituality, Jesus, love, Bible. Because that's just the default. I want real, authentic answers. Where's your current hope lying in? Are you telling yourself, if I get X amount of money in the bank account, I'll feel good, I'll be able to sleep at night? If I know that my kids are doing this, A, B, and C, I know if they get into this school, I will know that they are going to be successful. I will have peace. What are you saying in your life that will give you peace as long as it happens? And be real with yourself, because the only way to fix some things in our lives is when we can be real and authentic and genuine with ourselves. If you're going to lie to yourself, you're going to lie to everybody else as well. So you've got to be able to tell the truth to yourself of who or where are you putting your hope. Is it in a husband, a wife? Is it you're not married yet and you are like, if I wouldn't be single anymore, I would feel better. But then that tells me you're putting a significant amount of your hope into an individual, which is dangerous. Or, I mean, if I just get this car, I mean, especially when you were in high school, right? Think about that. Oh, if I got the latest trends, I'll feel cool. I'll feel awesome. It was what I got. My possessions made me feel better about myself. Because it's ultimately the thing that makes us feel good about ourselves is that we're putting hope in something. If I get the latest trend, I'll be cool. More people like me. It starts in this quest of hope. And so that's why we've been in our hope series. Where is your hope? And I think, would it be safe to say, Lily and Dwayne, that there's almost categories of where we put our hope? If you're a parent, like raising my children, this is how I find hope. If you have a loved one that's sick, all of a sudden it seems like it doesn't always translate unless we really make it. Oh, yeah. Well, maybe it's because our hope that we have is situational versus this umbrella that covers all things, which is, now the default answer comes to play, is Jesus. But how do we do that and why would we do that? That's what we're going to unpack today. But is it safe to say, Lil, that it seems situational for this hope thing? That different things feed different situations of hope?
Yes, I think that's very accurate. And I think it is circumstantial, but I think we're always, most of the time, subconsciously putting our hope into something. Did you know that 97% of our thoughts are subconscious thoughts?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's a statistic.
I think you need to break this down because I think all of my thoughts are subconscious.
Well-
and then I talk out loud.
Well,
You see what I'm saying?
No, I think we can be intentional with what we're thinking about. That would be the 3%.
But wouldn't my
it
subconscious
only
still-
happens very selectively.
Dwayne, do you want to push back on this statistic thing she's got going on about the...
Look
the-
it up. Look it up. Look
Wait,
it
I mean,
up.
What's Scott's favorite saying? That 90% of all statistics are made up on the spot.
Yeah, I definitely didn't make that up on the spot. I did read it this week from a valuable source.
Yeah, but
it could be wrong.
No, but it's not. I'm not questioning the numbers here at the moment. Say it again.
97% of our thoughts are subconscious thoughts.
All our thoughts are subconscious because they're thoughts. That's the part I'm getting confused.
I don't know about that. I think you can be intentional about what you're thinking about.
So you're
even
saying
when
the
you
subconscious just is running rogue. That's what
No.
you're saying. So if I intentionally think about it, it's no longer my subconscious.
I don't know. Now you're confusing
But that's
me.
what I'm confused.
Now, truly, I wish I wouldn't have said it.
Google. No,
I can Google it.
I'm trying
But
to
anyways,
learn.
I'm just saying, like, my point is that we put our hope into so many things, and sometimes we don't even realize it. And
Yes.
it just made me think of a statistic I read this week.
No, I like it. I'm just trying to get this subconscious thing. Will you look up the definition of subconscious? I'm trying to learn with you, Lil.
It's fine.
Do you feel like I'm making fun of you?
No.
I think.
What do you want me to Google?
You're saying that 97% of our thoughts are subconscious. So what is? I guess we have to define what is subconscious. I guess.
Well, then let me just go back to my notes.
Because subconscious is, I would thought or think, it's my thinking. Am I wrong on this, Dwayne?
I mean, I think subconscious would be like not knowing that you're thinking it, right? Like not knowing, kind of like, I don't know.
Subconscious is the part of the mind of which one is not fully aware, but which influences one's actions and feelings.
So
Part of the
97.
mind.
So another way to say that is 97% of my thinking is uncontrollable.
No, subconscious isn't uncontrollable.
What does it say again about a subconscious?
Part of the mind which one is not fully aware. There's awareness. That's why, like, when you put your hope at, like, I'm aware when I'm putting my hope into something, but I often will catch myself. Like, something I really struggle with is how many workouts did I get in this week? It makes me feel better about myself, and that's the part of my identity that gets skewed when I'm not fully into, nope, I am a daughter of the King. It's okay if I don't get a workout in because that's not what defines me, but I find myself subconsciously going, I feel better today because I worked out, or I don't feel as good today because I didn't. And then I have to retrain my brain to think, to think and know the truth. I mean, Paul says, transform your mind by the way you think.
So, what Get That PC said, take control of your conscious thoughts and your subconscious thoughts will follow.
That's so good.
Yeah. And that's what I was trying to get. I just try to step by step. Lily gets frustrated with that, and everyone can tell, I'm sure, where she's like, "What? I wish I wouldn't have said it anymore." But we're trying to unpack it because that's a big thought. But when somebody hears subconscious, they're like, "Wait, does that mean I'm not in control?" It's as simple as this. Once we figure out a big idea, how do we make it as simple as possible? Imagine having two different kinds of dogs representing the good and the bad. What dog are you feeding? What dog are you feeding by the videos you watch, the YouTube clips that you watch, the music you listen to? I mean, the list goes on and on. The jokes you listen to at work. All these things feed our brain. And then those subconscious thoughts are fed by the things we're putting in. So if you're feeding the dog that craves the wrong things, the less valued things, guess what dog's the strongest? The dog that you feed the most, the dog that is craving those things, because what's happened on the other side is you're starving out the good things. You're starving out what Paul says, renew your mind with what? good thoughts. Where do we get our good thoughts? And then he says, think on these things that are everything's praiseworthy, good, pure, lovable, loving, or something like that. And so he gives these lists of things that we should be really focusing our eyes on or listening to, and we tend to just put that off because, you know what's funny? Appetites want to be fed, and appetites crave typically things that aren't very good for our. I mean, think about your appetite. You're probably rarely, unless you just had some weekend binge on a bunch of bad things, like you rarely are going, woo! A salad with all the veggies, that's what I want right now. That typically is followed by a process of bad decisions. Now I need to eat right. I need to eat better, right? It's we don't crave the things that are good for us. No one's going, oh man, instead of ice cream, I'll take a frozen banana. Right?
I know I follow like a lot of healthy living blah 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 on Instagram, and the desserts people make are so funny. I'm like, I'm just gonna eat ice cream, thank you. It's like apples, but like smothered in whipped cream and caramel sauce. But I'm eating apples.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I just chuckle. We think there's another way to change our thoughts by, oh no, I can still listen, watch, and read and be around the crude conversations, and I myself am not going to fall into that. How do you think little kids figure out how to use poor language? Do you think they're naturally just coming up with these words? No, they're listening to it. It's coming in. They're feeding that dog, and then when they get frustrated, what comes out? What they put in. Adults, when you get mad, you get scared, what's the words coming in your mouth? Well, it's already in you. Well, it's in there. Garbage in, garbage out. These are practical little nuggets of wisdom that are our realities that we want to think that we're stronger than. The reality is, what dog are you feeding when it comes to this situation to renew your mind? 97% of our thoughts are subconscious, which means they pop into our brain, and then we have to decide, are we going to ponder that? Are we going to sit there and live by that? Are we going to be defined by that? What's happening with that thought that pops in? That's where you adopt the principle of saying bad thought, leave. And I mean, I don't know how else to train the mind other than just saying bad thought, leave. I'm not going to ponder that thought. That's a negative thought. That's not where my hope lies. These are the ways that we beat those negative thoughts. As Collins just went through brain surgery less than a week ago, and he's in the chat today. Good to see him. You got to fight those, going to do brain surgery again. And obviously you have these thoughts that are not life-giving, positive, and you could dwell on those. And then fear starts taking over. Or you can go, I understand there is that risk to this, but I'm going to right now put my hope over here that it's going to work out. It's going to be good and positive. Yes, there is a chance, but I'm not going to dwell on the negative. I'm going to dwell on the positive. And that's where people come in and go, I'm just a realist. I'm going to be realistic that it doesn't look good. The odds don't look good. But the chance that the thing that you say that these odds don't look good, in my mind, is you are looking at the glass half empty instead of full, that there's a chance of greatness, a good story where God could show up and show off. And if he doesn't, okay, we'll do something about that. And that's what our topic is about today. We're going to get to that here in a moment. But we want to do a song to begin to give ourselves a moment to ponder, where's our hope lying? Ask Jesus to soften your heart today so you might learn a few things and you might be able to change a little bit. Ask yourself, what do you keep fixing your attention on? What thought genuinely pops in your head and you give it a lot of time? The psychologists tell us that as we latch onto a thought or a concept for a long time, it's like building a new road in our brain. Now our brain constantly thinks like that. So if you tend to be a little bit more negative, you've built a road that direction in your head to be negative on that topic. Are you negative about people? Well, is that because you've spent so much time thinking about people and how bad they are and there's no good, and all of a sudden that's how you just see everything? You got to rebuild the road the other direction. This is where Paul says renew your mind. Paul talks about renewing our mind constantly and over again. So this is a big concept, big thing to do. what do you need to do in renewing your mind? We've got a great song. It's called Exalt, and it's just giving worth to God. I don't know the week you're coming here today with. Maybe you're just coming because you've come from a clip off Instagram. You're like, oh, that sounds like a great topic. Well, take a moment and just think about your hope. Where's it lie? What are you doing with it? And we'll be right back to really dive into where is your hope lying. Enjoy this song.
We exalt you. We exalt you. Holy, holy is the Lord. We exalt you. We exalt you.
Yep, that's a good one right there. I like that song. That is Martin Smith. You got to check him out. He's got a new album that just dropped. If you're looking for some music to play that will get your mind thinking on other things than what the daily news is talking about and things of that nature, it gives you a recentered moment. You got to listen to the lyrics and things of that nature, and it will really, really, really counteract the other things the world's putting in you. Again, garbage in, garbage out. What dog are you feeding? We got to choose to feed that dog. That is the spiritual things in our life, the Jesus things in our lives. Okay, so we're gonna jump into a series. We're into it. We've been in a series. This week we dropped halfway through the week that the church is supposed to be the hope dealer of the world. That's the mission of the assembly of God's people coming together. We are supposed to be reaching out and giving hope to people. We're to be loving on people, not judging those that are outside the church. We get it all kinds of backwards all the time as the assembly, the people of the church. We're judging the people that are outside the doors of the church. Oh, I can't believe they do that. I can't believe they'd create a movie like that or songs like that. It's like, what do you think? When Jesus isn't in the center of the deal, what do you think they're going to do? And so we can't be offended by that. We have to understand we get to see that they are an individual that needs Jesus still, and they are only behaving as if somebody that doesn't have Jesus. They've been feeding the wrong dog the whole time. So we should be moved with compassion. We should be moved in a direction. I need to build a relationship with them to help them move their hope. And so today, another conversation about moving your hope. We're talking to you today. What's your hope in? In this story that's a real story with Jesus, an encounter that is it's a very popular story. If you've seen the movie The Chosen, they depict this entire story in The Chosen. We watched this clip in the office the other day when I told Lily I was talking about this. And she's like, oh, we got to go. And we watched it, and it's like just as powerful as the first time you watch it. What season's that from, though?
2.
Season 2. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the spring, the baths, the pool of Bethesda. I might pronounce that a little off. We had 4 of us in the office the other day, and we all said it differently. So somewhere in there is the truth. The 4 of us, you put it all together.
I think Haley was right, Bethesda.
There you go. And so you can look at this. You can go see what it looks like today. We'll show you pictures of that. But with the story we got today, it's going to start in John 5, 1 through 15. John 1 through 15. Here we go. Let me read it. Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, in which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Okay, so John is trying to write a lot of details here. I love how John writes most of the time because John gives us facts, things that the readers of his time period could read and go, I know where this is. You and I can go now, luckily, because we have found this said pool, we can go and go, oh, this took place right here. And this is what this kind of looked like, with some modern technology piecing it together because it's an archaeological dig. It looks like an Indiana Jones scene, but you get this idea where he's just trying to say, hey, you can fact check me. And we continue into the story where we get in John chapter 5, again, 1 through 15. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie, the blind, the lame, and the paralyzed. Got to see this. I mean, it's when I was in South America, I've been in the Amazon jungles, and you go visit their hospitals. And they look nothing like a hospital in any modern culture. You're going into the Amazon jungle, and it is huts, and they're doing their best to have like mosquito nets up. And it's you and I, especially coming from the United States, we would go, no way, I'm not going there. That is what is happening there. The tools are primitive and things of that nature. And you roll into those huts, those hospitals in the little jungle, and there's just people moaning and groaning. There's a smell in there. It is just like, you're like, what is going on? And your heart is moved with compassion. You're like, something needs to be done. That's the scene I always get when John's depicting this. There's a great number of disabled people around, okay? The blind, the lame, and the paralyzed. They're laying there. Why are they doing there? This because in their culture, was a superstition situation. This pool, every once in a while, would bubble. No rhyme or reason. It would just bubble up. And so when those that were sick would see the bubbles in the center of the water, they believed the first one in the water would be healed, because what they would say is that an angel is stirring the water and it's time to get into the water. So it's superstition. This is a lot of where people put their hopes in. You read your horoscopes in the morning, and this is going to be the direction of the day. This is my lucky number. Some of you have a lucky rabbit's foot. You have a 4-leaf clover. You have all these things. It's just like luck, 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 luck. It's superstition. You put your hope in superstition. These group of people, either their family members or themselves, laying on the porches of this pool, are relying on superstition and putting their hope in that. That's the thing that's going to fix them and cure them. Now, the other thing you got to understand, and this is pretty wild, that in those days, doctors could not do surgery on a living body. So doctors that needed to study for health and all these things, if you were living, no surgeries could be done. It was their culture. And so doctors are on the edges of the perimeter of this place. If any of these people that were sick died during the afternoon, as they're on their way to dying, they are starting to do surgery on to learn how does the heart pump, how does the lungs work, all of these things that they don't understand yet, but they can't by law do surgery until they're dead. And so the scene is, I don't know if I'm doing a good job, Dwayne, painting this picture, but this scene at this pool isn't for the faint of heart, I don't believe. Have you ever heard any of the details, Dwayne, that I'm leaving out about this pool?
No, I think that accurately depicts of kind of the scene of what's going on.
Okay.
Just hopelessness.
Hopelessness, yeah, that's a fair way to say it, Dwayne. It's like me walking in those hospitals in the jungle. There's something about the human heart when you see things like that, you're just going, it's not right. And I think you'd walk into these pools and you go, it isn't right. Let's put some pictures up for people to get a good idea of what these pools look like. We have a picture of, this is what they have rebuilt. This is, if you can see in the center of your screen, the two red roofed situations. You have the north and the south pool. In the middle is a dam to control the water down to the secondary pool. Okay, so this is what they believe it looks like. It's right on the edge of the city. You see the Jerusalem wall there. Again, in that time period, your best defense was your wall. If you had a hole in the wall, you were a weak city. And so right on the edge, and some of that was as the waters would fill up too full from rain and things of that nature, they needed to get the water out of the city so it would drain out underneath that wall. They built the dam centuries before Jesus comes on the scene, but this is the situation at hand. Now, here is pictures of what we have seen today. That's how deep this water would be, and you see the ladder way down there. You can kind of get the idea of, well, this is quite a situation. A couple churches over the last several centuries have built churches on top of this thing, and it was an accidental find. We have one more picture to show you of what it looks like. Look how deep that is. You can kind of see in the top left by the green, and you see the pillars. That would be the separation between the north and the south, they think. And the way they know that this is this water, this pool, is because they found the spring. Because the one piece I didn't tell to you was we later on in history, it was too deep for them to go down there, and they didn't have gear, right? You see how deep it is. They wouldn't know that it's spring fed. They wouldn't understand that concept, that was just the spring sending water up, creating the bubbles. It wasn't an angel stirring it. It was the spring that was feeding the water. Interesting. Just those are those facts that you now know, but their superstition was an angel stirring it. So the bubble that made everyone think that it's time to get healed was just water coming up from the bottom, spring fed. And I think it's cool when we as archaeologists, I'm not one, find these things because it only gives proof to these stories. And I love that John writes in a way that says, fact check me. And so we pick up the story in John chapter 5, verse 1, probably around verse 3 now. One who had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time. Okay, this is Jesus's, we're going to call him, sometimes I call him Jesus' third sign. John writes it, you could say miracles, but signs, like he's trying to point to something here. Jesus isn't just doing this like at random. This isn't a rando thing. This is strategically done so you and I, 24 years later, we could read and go, oh, this is pointing to who Jesus is. Or this is how the kingdom of heaven works. These are signs. Yes, it's a miracle, but it's not just a miracle since John picks out these signs for you and I to read and go, what can we learn about Jesus? So Jesus walks into the pool area, tons of people with isms, and he goes to someone that's been there for 38 years. Dwayne, can you tell us again how old you are?
37?
Wait, you put a question on that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
What?
People forget their age. It's weird.
6.
37.
I'm 37. I will be 38 this year.
Okay, so you're close to the age of this individual. So imagine your age, you've had an ism that's landed you here. Invalid would mean paralyzed of some sort, right? Isn't that what that means? Am I wrong on that? Can you look that up, Lil, just so I'm... Dwayne gave me the raise of the eyebrows, like, that sounds all right, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, just disabled.
For 38 years. Okay, that's a long time. That's a lifetime. That's not even, this individual doesn't know anything different, but the family members of this individual is leaving them at the pool. Jesus comes in, finds the person 38 years, okay, boom. And Jesus saw him lying there and learned he had been in this condition for a long time. Okay, remember, this is all a setup. This is a setup to teaching who Jesus is. Now, this next part is like, I find a lot of frustration in on the man, the 38-year-old that we don't know his name, I don't believe. Here we go, back to the story. Jesus asked him, to the man, 38 years old, do you want to get well? Jesus looks at the man and says, do you want to get well? Do you want to get better? What you've been going through for years now, are you ready to let go of it? The things that you've been defined by, are you ready to let go of it? The things that you label yourself with because of your conditions, are you ready to change your labels? And I'm now looking to you at home watching, are you ready to move on from your isms? I think when we read this, I think it's so easy and should be happening when you read it going, what's my thing that I've been defined by, that I've let define me for years? Are you ready to get better? And you would think it would just be an easy, absolutely, for this guy, come on. Are you serious? This has been a lifelong problem for you. This is so easy to, let's go. This man's problems has become a way of life for him for a very long time. No hope of getting better. No one stepping in to help him. And all of a sudden, somebody comes in and says, I will help you. Do you want to get better? This is the man's response. This blows my mind when I read this. And this, again, I've read this story so many times, but this thing jumped off the pages this time.
Cool.
It says, his answer to Jesus, Sir, the invalid replied, I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. When I am trying to get in, someone else gets down or goes down ahead of me. The obvious answer is what here, Dwayne? What's the obvious answer? If someone walks in, it doesn't matter if you don't know, right? He doesn't know Jesus yet. He doesn't know who he is. He's just a guy. Do you want to get better? What's the right answer?
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Yes, please. Tell me how. Instead, he begins to go, well, it's not even my fault. My condition is everybody else's issue. This is it just like peels back a little layer of an onion in a sense to get to the next layer about humanity. You and I are awful. at taking any responsibility most of the time for our situation. It's always somebody else's fault. It's somebody else's problem. When we tell the stories to our coworkers or a family member about a situation going on, we never tell the story in like, I own a percentage of this puzzle or problem. I own this. It's always 100% them. And the hearers that hear these stories are crazy. We're crazy people because we go, yeah. Oh my goodness. Never asking, so what part of this do you own? This man, his answer should have been yes. Yes, please. What do I got to do? Are you going to help me down there? Instead, he says, well, I'm adding now to his, I'm not loved enough, so no one will help me. Poor me. We have this pity party. What's your situation in your life that you're blaming on everybody else? Why don't you stop drinking if it's a problem? Why don't you stop smoking if it's a problem?
I think it too, like, blaming everybody else, but also blaming like the thing, like blaming, well, if I could just be healthier, then this wouldn't affect me. But this is what is causing the problems. And so I think it's blaming others, blaming the thing that you're doing that, we're not invincible. We're not going to be able to just handle it. And I think we have to be humble enough to go, oh, that's affecting me differently than it affected my friend, but I'm a different person than them. And yeah, we're painting scenarios, but man, I could be very blunt with what I'm thinking about, For some people just really struggle with certain things that, yeah it's just.
We just recently did a small group class here at Unlock Church where it was to help people get out of debt. And it was crazy to listen to people like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's cool that they say this will work to get me out. I'm not going to do that. Why? Well, I'm in this situation because I live in a family that they have a standard of living, quality of living that I need to keep up with. And it's like, what? It's like you just blamed your situation on somebody else, not, oh yeah, I just overspend. I charge everything. I'm not responsible with my money. It's so many people's stories were blaming it on somebody else instead of the ownership of, it's me. Here's the issue. Until we take ownership of our lack of hope being in the right place, and it's in all the wrong place, until we own that 100%, we will not change. Change comes when we take 100% of responsibility. Even in those awful situations that there is a percentage of somebody else's fault, you still got to be the owner. You're the owner. You can't go, it's their fault. We have... on our property, we have a septic system that went bad a year ago. Literally, it became a geyser in our yard. Just, it was awful. And so many people try to pin it onto somebody else. It's their fault. Look for the reason they did this. And always look for the person to sue, to take advantage of it. And I was just like, I just feel like it's probably something we did. It was probably 10 people overflowing. And it was like, I want to train myself to not look for the escape on all things. I want to take the responsibility because that's how I fix me. That's how I become the man God has created me to be, is owning my mess. I'm okay saying I'm a messy person, that I ain't got it all together, that I have to apologize at times, and I have to I just do. Like, here we got this guy who his answer from Jesus, do you want to get better? And he starts blaming everybody else for his stuff. I just cannot. But I think that's human nature. Because if we can blame it on somebody else, we don't have to do anything about it. Well, if my husband would love me, I wouldn't drink so much. If I had the latest this, I'd just feel better, and so I go get it because I feel better, right? It's such a circular problem. So this guy with Jesus still going, listen, my hope's in that water being stirred. No one's here to get me in there, so therefore I'm not healed. And every time I try, I'm not the first one. I get pushed out of the way, and boom, they're in there. Now here's
that sounds a lot of like defeat as well. Of, hey, I've had hope, but it's just now it's not in the cards.
Yeah,
like I give up. It almost sounds like when I read that, it's like he's given up hope because it's almost easier to exist in the current state than to have hope, to get that hope up and then to be let down again. Yeah.
Because there's the risk of it. Like, even you don't know, like, if Jesus is going to step in and heal someone in this moment, even in our lives. We don't know that. We don't know. Using the situation with Collins last week in brain surgery, we don't know. Faith, like, hear me, if you've never caught what we say, we define faith like this. We know he can heal 100% of the time, but will he? We know you can, but will you? There's this, that's where the mystery lies, is God has this perfect will, and we don't know it. But it's resting in the fact, and my hope comes in that he can 100% act in every situation. But will he? And sometimes he does, and sometimes he doesn't, because there's a journey for everyone to learn and things of those natures that we have to hang in there for, but we quit most of the time, so we never see the results of the things we're going through because it's too hard, too difficult. We look at our neighbors and their life seems really good. They got everything, and you don't know their situation. You're basing it off of Instagram, Facebook, and all those things. You're not looking at the real life stuff inside their heart, that they're hopeless and things, but you look at it, I got to keep up with the Joneses, and there lies your hope. And all of a sudden, it erodes everything in your life. The other part of this pool situation, I mean, think about it. It's 38 years this guy's been doing this. 38 years. He's alone. He's talking about everyone's left me. No one's around here anymore helping me. I'm by myself. So someone in the morning drops him off, and someone in the evening picks him up. And there were low-level centurions, soldiers' job at the end of the day is to clean up the dead bodies in the pool. Because there were people that would jump in and they couldn't swim and they didn't get healed. Shocker. They didn't get healed. And now they've drowned because they couldn't swim. And so the Roman Empire saw this as a problem, not sanitary, because this water's going out into the city area. We got to clean out the dead bodies. So this situation is really, you just trying to depict it is probably not doing justice, because just like me trying to depict the huts in the middle of the Amazon jungle that they called hospitals, going, no way, Jose. Blood on the floor in the rooms where they're doing surgery, and it's like, what? No one's cleaning that up? Well, it wasn't. It was just a dirt floor. Like, they were trying to fix somebody. And so we have Jesus again asking the man, do you want to get healed? Let's read his response. Does this sound like you? I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in there, someone else goes down ahead of me. He blamed it on two groups of people. Two different groups of people. Those that were around him, they pushed me out of the way. Oh, I don't get the promotion because we have backstabbers at work and they're trying to connive their way to the top and lie about me. What'd you just do? You just blamed your entire circumstances on those around you. We teenagers, man, you guys are kings and queens of, no, it's my parents' fault. They don't give me enough money to do blah, 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 blah. Take ownership. Stop blaming other people for your stuff. So, Jesus asked him, do you want to get healed? Back to the story from the author John. Jesus said to him, get up. The word that was used that we translate into is on the screen. It was a different translation there. But the word that we use to get up or take your mat, it means wake up, rise up, or even come to life. Like, that's what, like, we read it and go, get up, and that's cool. Like, we like the physical side of things of that because you see the results of something supernatural. But what Jesus is saying to him is wake up, rise up. It's a spiritual thing. And it's funny how the spiritual thing usually precedes the physical thing. We shift our hope, we shift our surrender, and then follows the results. It's the shift of the thinking, like we were saying earlier, then produces the different results. But we want results first and think we maintain them. Lily and I and my family were from Miami area, moved to Minnesota to start Unlock Church. Miami area, they have billboards everywhere. Lunchtime Botox, lunchtime lipo. All of these things, you can just go get these things done to get the body you've always wanted to have over lunchtime. It's wild. Do you remember those billboards and stuff?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like I remember right before we moved, this new thing about lipo was freeze your fat away. And you could go in during lunch and I don't know how that works. I live in Minnesota. In the winter, it doesn't freeze off. It tends to see where we put on fat in the winter. It's the opposite.
Yes.
So all of these things, where's my point here? Is these doctors are making buco bucks because what's happening is people are getting the body they want by going into lunchtime. They're paying lots of money to have the fat sucked out of their chin or other areas, or take some fat from one area and put it in another area because they want puffy lips. I don't know. I don't understand all those things, but people are paying money for that. But here's the wild bit, is that the money that they're making isn't on their first visit. It's the third and fourth visit, because these people aren't doing something to maintain the results because you think you would. Oh, if somebody paid for me to get out of debt, I would just be out of debt forever. But no, your heart didn't change, just the condition. That's why most of the time we don't see God intervening to change the circumstance first. It's a heart. And so what's lost in some of the translations, because English language isn't that cool, we just see the words get up, or what we just, if we can put it back on the screen, legend there, we see in the NIV where it says, Jesus said to him, get up, pick up your mat and walk. That's the physical side. But in the Greek word, it means wake up, rise up, or come to life. He's talking spiritual. You today, may we be rattling your spirit of going, when have you been putting your hope? Is it working out very well? Has it resulted that you're on the edge of a pool just going, it's everybody else's fault? And again, as you saw on the screen, because I'm only reading half of it, what Jesus says next is what makes this a sign and not just some kind of thing to do. He says, pick up your mat and walk. At once, the man was cured. He picked up his mat and walked. 38 years of not walking. Condition bad. Worse, probably worse, mentally losing, and all of a sudden, he gets up. Like not wobble. I'm not picturing some wobbly business like, shaky. I just feel like he just got up, picked up his mat. I think it's wonderful. And Jesus did something great. But what he did in that moment was he smacked a hornet's nest, because there were religious people watching. And it happened to be the Sabbath. And the Sabbath law was you're not supposed to work. Not supposed to heal anybody on the Sabbath. So we got John chapter 5, 1 through 15, this whole story takes place. And so the Jewish leader says to the man who had been healed, it is a Sabbath, and the law forbids you to carry your mat. Are you kidding? It's funny how most people, like here's why the church gets a bad reputation. The church gets a bad reputation because what we do is we judge everything without the heart, without compassion, without grace. We just look at things and just point fingers. Oh, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. Instead of going, no. What's the situation at hand? Getting to know somebody. What's really going on in your life? We sit there and point fingers, and these Jewish people are going, hey, I don't know why you're carrying your mat right now, but it's the Sabbath, so now you're sinning. Which is crazy. Now, this whole story ensues to a lot more, and we're not going to unpack that today just because of time. But my question back to this whole entire story, as Jesus smacks the hornet nest of the way church people, religious people look at things, they miss the heart of people that we as followers of Jesus, we should be about people. Our heart should break for people. We should be figuring out how to make it easier for people to find Jesus, not more difficult. We should celebrate when people have victory in their life, when they have found Jesus. It should be, that's a miracle. When somebody was lost is now found, they had no hope, now they have hope. That's a miracle. That's wow. That's wild stuff. Because I can't do that. You can't do that. That's a Jesus thing. Jesus comes in and makes someone right. And there lies our hope. That we don't have to do life alone anymore. And that we now have someone that's going to guide us and help us throughout life. Back to the original question, what are you putting your hope in? And what excuses have you been using to keep you there? Instead of Jesus saying, hey, are you done with it? I think Jesus is kind of doing that to everybody today. You done with that yet? You want to be healed? And your response now will be, yeah, yes. And then he's going to tell you what you got to do. And you're like, oh, I just thought you were going to do like this snap of the finger, wave of a wand kind of thing. It's just gone. No, he's going to be like, no. Just like this man, what do you have to do? In this short, he had to get up. He had to pick up his mat. He had to do a little bit of work. He had to walk through some execution of what was going on. You're going to have to walk through a few things. Some of you might have to go to AA because that alcohol is that big of a problem for you. Drugs might be that big of a problem for you. Some of you might have to admit that you're addicted to sex, and you're like, hey, I got to tell some people I still look at pornography though I'm married. Or I shouldn't say it like that because it would make it sound like it's appropriate to look at pornography if you're not married. Porn is bad. It is not good for you. Psychologists have pointed out that it destroys your brain and it ruins relationships. It's addictive in nature. And maybe you're just like, I've tried to shake this. You know what? In these moments when Jesus comes and taps us on the shoulder and he says, get up and take care. He's like, stop looking at pornography. Hey, go get some help. Tell somebody you're going through something. Well, then you know what you got to do? You got to go tell somebody you're going through something. You have to humble yourself to get better. Now, this is all very difficult stuff. This is difficult stuff. So here's what I want to do as we wrap this up today. And again, because I think this is a lot of business time with God. Some of you I'm transferring my hope from this, and you need to label this. If you've been a Christian forever and you're like, no, if your hope is in, I have stuff and I need the latest to look cool with my friends, that's a problem. That's not how Jesus wants you to be. Because what happens when we put our hope in the wrong thing, there's always collateral damage. When you put your hope in alcohol, people get hurt around you. It's not just a you thing. You put your hope in, well, when I'm having a bad day, I just go shopping and you get yourself into debt. Well, guess what? That has collateral damage because at some point, someone's going to have to step in and help you probably with finances. Guess what? That's collateral damage. We just could play this out forever on how these things have collateral damage as we're going. And so we got to do business. Maybe first time doing business with Jesus, what does it look like? It's a conversation. Some of you just need to go, help. Some of you need to text the church and go, hey, how do I deal with this? What's my next step in these things? Because today you logged in and Jesus wants to do some work on your heart today. And John was awesome at writing down what took place for a moment like this. Jesus is asking you today. You want to get better? You want to put your hope in the right stuff? You want to feed the right dog? You want to change your thinking? Well, then you got to do these things. And so what we want to do is we want to do Waiting Here for You. Is a worship song we want to play because even the title, it's like, I don't know, we're going to wait on the Lord here for a bit. So the point of listening to this song is that you would take time, maybe in your house, maybe you're watching with your family, maybe you're at lunchtime this week, just close your eyes, listen to the music, and ponder these thoughts today. And then we'll be back to really wrap this thing up. But we want to have business time with God over the next few moments. Enjoy this song, and we'll be right back.
Faith can move the mountains. Let the mountains move. We come with expectation. We're waiting here for you. We're waiting here for you. Still you know my heart, the author of salvation. You've loved me from the start. Waiting here for you, with our hands lifted high. And it's you we adore, singing hallelujah.
All right, we want to land the plane with the wrapping up of the story of this man who had this encounter with Jesus, and the religious people come up to him and go, hey, what's the deal? You're carrying your mat. You're sinning right now because you are carrying a mat on the Sabbath. And then they asked, well, his answer was, hey, listen, I was told to do this. I was healed, and I was told to pick up my mat. So they asked him, who's the fellow who told you to pick up the mat? So that because they want to go to the man that healed on the Sabbath, because if he really healed you, then he's guilty of practicing medicine on the Sabbath. They weren't thinking about Jesus healing like how Jesus does a miracle. They were thinking he performed medicine on the Sabbath, which was illegal. If you were dying on the Sabbath, it was just, that's the way it was. So they were like, he could have waited to the next day to do this healing for you, so we need to find him. But the man, remember, this whole story is in John chapter 5, verse 1 through 15. The man who was healed had no idea who he was, for Jesus had slipped away into the crowd that was there. Now, fast forward in the story. This is a wild bit. If you fast forward in this story, Jesus later finds him, this man, the 38-year-old who was healed, and sees him at the temple. He says, hey, I see you're well again. I see you're doing good. A miracle's happened. Knowing that the man was accused of sinning, that never addresses that, just points to, hey, listen, you were healed. Your hope's now being transferred from the well. He's no longer running around by the well anymore. He's at the temple. He's never walked to the temple before. And now, so his life's changed. When we have an encounter with Jesus and a real encounter where we shift our hope, life changes. If we don't, we will gravitate back to the things that we once put our hope in. It's a 100% shift. Now listen to this. This is wild. John chapter 5, verse 1 through 15. Jesus, knowing that he's accused of sinning, he begins to address it now. Stop sinning or something else worse may happen to you. Stop sinning or something worse may happen to you. So you see right there on your screen, Jesus found him at the temple and said to him, see, you are well again. So I know you're healed. Stop sinning or something else worse may happen to you. When you choose to follow Jesus, religion will lose its grip on you. When we recognize who Jesus is when we will lose fear of religious people. He's trying to say, listen, don't be afraid of those religious people accusing you. No. He's now all of a sudden pointing to God. Okay, so now he now knows this paralytic guy now knows who healed him. So the man went away and told every Jewish leader that it was Jesus who had made him well. So because Jesus was doing these things on the Sabbath, and again, this is in the scriptures, so you can read along with us. So because Jesus was doing these things on the Sabbath, the Jewish leaders began to persecute him. In his defense, Jesus said to them, my Father is always at work to this very day, and I too am working. For this reason, they tried all the more to kill him. Not only was he breaking the Sabbath, but he was even calling himself God, his own Father, making him an equal with God. Religious leaders going, who does he think he is? When this is where Jesus begins to listen. You want to know what God's like? Here, all of you on the fence about putting your hope in Jesus, and you're like, what's God like? Jesus just answered. He's like, listen, I'm equal to God. Whatever I'm doing, that's what my Father's going to be about. I'm about my Father's work. You want to know what God's like? Then look at my life. Jesus gave this answer. Very truly, I tell you, the Son can do nothing by himself. He can only do what he sees his Father doing, because whatever the Father does, the Son does. Boom! Exclamation point. You want to know what God is really like? Look at Jesus' life. This is a huge statement. This is big. It was the setup was the healing where this man got healed, but it was really to make a very bold statement into the future. You don't know what God's like? Look at Jesus' life. Jesus is saying, you want to know? Watch me. You want to know what God's like? Watch me. You want to know what God would actually say in those moments? Then listen to Jesus' words. You want to know what God would do in your situation? And you're going to, well, he didn't buy cars then. Recently I was asked, do you think Jesus smoked marijuana? cannabis. You know, when they use the word cannabis, they're trying to trick you, I think. But if you think he did that, and they're going to, well, I don't see any reason he didn't or did not. And they're looking, and it's like, hold on. You can't plug and play your situation, right? It's the heart of the thing. You got to read through a lot of things. And I'm not picking on these things. You're like, oh, you're calling me out. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to practically put this into your space, your sphere. What's the wise thing to do? That's what we try to come back. You know what actually Jesus would say to you on all these topics? This is follow me. You want to know what Jesus would do? Would he date that person? Follow Jesus. And through that, I think you'll learn a few things. Not, oh, should I date this person with this name? He's going to teach you what kind of person you should be dating. He's going to teach you, should I buy that house? He's probably not going to say no to that house. You're not going to find security, but he's going to tell you the principles to live by in buying a house. Not dictator. He just knows the best, how we best behave as humans. So you want to know what God's like? Follow Jesus. Look at Jesus. And that's why we want to move our hope to all of these things that are temporary to something that's permanent. Dwayne, any thoughts as we land this thing?
I don't know. Like a lot of thoughts. I go back to the guy going to the temple for the first time. For 38 years of not being able to go to walk to the temple. Like I imagine his experience that first day was a lot different than the other people. So like walking into the temple, just kind of going in there, just kind of like nonchalantly, okay, this is what we do. It's like, no, he had a reason to go that day. He was excited to go. It was a different, it was different for him. Like it wasn't just a religious thing. It was, hey, God healed me, and now I'm going to go and I'm going to praise Yahweh. So just kind of thinking through that, of thinking, okay, following through. But like honestly, like I go back to, it's like, okay, and I know I'm babbling and kind of running on here, but just like I know a lot of people's stories are, you know, they have faith or they're going through things, and it's like this guy, like God's plan may have been all along for him to be there for 38 years. But just having hope and not having hope, I imagine if he would have kept hope and he would have trusted that God's plan was so much better than anything he could have imagined, then his 38 years would have been very different, as opposed to pity me sitting here.
That's good.
Everyone else is kind of taking it, like his life would have been a lot different. And it goes back to the fruits of the spirits, you know, love and faith and hope and just, you know, generosity. Like he would have been a very different person. His life would have been very different if he would have just had that hope, as opposed to, well, their story is different than my story, and my story is like, it's pity me and things like that. It's like, no. God has us where he wants us. And the thing about being a Christian is our hope is in Jesus, and the hope that there is someone that has power over everything, that his plan is perfect. And okay, I may suffer for, you know, however long. This may not be what I wanted to do, but I trust that God is going to work this for his glory, and this is going to be so much better than anything I can imagine. It's like, that's where our hope comes from. That's what we as Christians, that's where we put our hope, is that God's plan is bigger and better than our plan. So yeah, it's just, again, a lot of rambling, just kind of trying to put it all together. But yeah, that's.
Yeah, I got it. I think if we get this right, the world changes. I think if we get this right, and I'm talking about, if we get it right, the world begins to change. But we often become the religious leaders running around pointing fingers at everybody versus taking our stuff and going, wait, where's my hope lie anyways? Like, Is it 100% in Jesus? Now, I'm not coming from a platform of like, I got this right. No, I daily have checks. How about you, Lil, as we wrap this thing up and you hear the story and you've seen it in The Chosen? What are some of your closing thoughts?
I think I'm going to try to make this quick, but you mentioned yesterday that we did Last One Another Standing, and how old is Greatness? He's 9, right?
Yeah.
So one of Scott and Holly's kids, Greatness, 9 years old. I'm interviewing these kids and I'm asking Greatness, like, okay, so you're out on these trails. How are you keeping yourself entertained? What's going through your mind? They're not racing necessarily. They're trying to get mileage. So at times they're going slower on purpose. So I'm like, how are you not getting bored out there? And hoping, he's got a cute and fun answer. And he's like, I'm just reminding myself God is with me and I can do this. And God is with me. And he also said he pretended he had a camera and he was creating his own videos, which I just loved. But anyways, he's saying, God is with me. And then he proceeds to tell the story about how his one wheel was dying. And he ended up getting disqualified because he broke a rule, and his one wheel was already dying, and things got shaken up for him. And so in that moment, I'm like, ooh, okay. So when things go the wrong way, what we do as humans is we blame God for what took place. And I'm like, this is a kid who's probably having a turning point into that humanity, right? And so I said, okay, what then? How did you, I wanted to say rationalize so bad because it's how it made sense for me, but I just like, how did you make sense of that greatness with what you were saying to yourself before, that God is with you? And he goes, well, God was still with me. And even though I got disqualified and even though I was done, God was with me. And I was so struck by really what Jesus says when he says, have faith like a child. It's just this pure, God is here and he is with me. And it doesn't matter if I win or if I lose or if it's healed or if it's not. It's that he's good today. God is good today and he'll be good tomorrow. And he's good on his promise. And I've just been on one about that because his character will not fail him, and is that he will be good, and he will be with you whether or not what we hope for comes true. That's why it's worth putting our hope in him.
I didn't know that story. That's a pretty good one. With
I got some good ones from yesterday.
I'm sure.
I have a lot to share.
I'm sure you do. But again, I hope this hits right at home for everybody. Thank you for watching with us today. Let me pray really quick. Jesus, I thank you for John recording this moment. To be able to just, there's so many more questions we didn't even answer, like why 38 years? I like Dwayne's answer that you dropped in his heart. But would you just make it clear to other people watching today, this would be one of those life-changing moments for them in their life, that you would allow us to change, that we would begin the process this week of just transferring our hope from all this other stuff, man-made stuff, and into you. May we transfer it 100%. And learn how to do that. May we study scriptures and show up to places like this to be able to learn more about you. Jesus, I thank you that you showed us what God's like. I thank you that we can look straight at your life and go, that's what God would do. So thank you for those amazing examples. Make it real to all of us. Thank you for those that call Unlock Church home, those that give, volunteer in aspect, been on mission trips. Thank you for people making a difference in the world by their generosity of time and resources. Those are volunteering at camp. Thank you. Thank you for Dwayne logging in every week from Mississippi, and Lily sitting in here, and Joey and those others at the other desk that's empty today, and Steven at the soundboard, and Legend at the switcher. Thank you for this amazing team that we get to do what we do. Jesus, we love you in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Everyone that's watching with us, this is a church. We meet in a physical location here in Champlin, Minnesota on Sundays right after this. So we log off this, hop in a car, and we get to church to do sometimes the welcome and different things. Just like we honored our graduates today, we are honoring them in person today. And then we're doing a cookout right after church. Champlin, Minnesota, the Man's Movie Theater there. So if you're around here, you want to hang out for a little bit, and then we're going to do a ride around the park out there. You can ride whatever you want. You can even pogo stick it if you want. It's about 6 miles. I don't know if pogo sticking 6 miles is fun. It doesn't sound fun at all. But you can do whatever. It's just a way to get connected and hang out. So hopefully we get to see some of you. And then also, as part of a church, we want to provide a moment for you to be able to give your tithes and offering. Again, these are those Jesus things. This isn't about salvation. This doesn't make you more saved if you give money. This is about those practicing the principles of generosity that Jesus talks about. And he does talk about, hey, you have income, you have resources, give 10% of it. We're not here to wrestle that with you. That's between you and Jesus. But we want to make it available to you, just like we do in our other physical campus as well. We make it very simple. You can text the number 77977 to the word unlock on your phone, and it'll walk you through step by step how to give. You can set up automated giving so you don't miss it. You can give special lump sums, all kinds of stuff. You can snail mail it. You can go to unlockchurch.com/connect, and there will lie the street address or P.O. box to send a check. Some of you do that, and we're very grateful for you taking that time to do that. That's very kind of you. You can also go to unlockchurch.com/give, and you can do the same way by filling the form out there. So there's many ways to do it because we understand there's many of options out there for you guys that make it simple and practical for you. That said, we have one more big camp coming up in July. We already talked about the first one. What's the next one, Lil?
We've got the challenge camp for our middle school and high school students. So if you are a parent of a middle schooler, high schooler, or if you're a middle schooler, high schooler watching and you want to come on out for this, we are inviting you to do that. Go to unlockchurch.com/students for information there. And it's going to be a week where our students are going to really get tested to test their leadership, to test their teamwork, and to test their mental capacity to fight through hard things. And isn't that what life is about?
Yeah, it almost sounds like a turnoff to a student, though. Like, wait, what?
No, like, you get to prove yourself here, guys. Like,
it's game changer stuff. Game changer stuff. Dwayne, have fun. Dwayne's going to ride some trails on his one wheel. The
have
guy.
So much fun, Dwayne.
Come on. We want to see video proof. It isn't happening unless we have some video proof. It has to be video, not pictures, because you could just standing there. We need some video proof of you moving through trails.
I might make a appearance on the IG this week.
All right, baby. We like to see it. It'll be a lot of fun. We're rooting you on. That's just us being accountable to some of your goals, that we're trying to be helpful here. So enjoy your time as you're going to do some of those things. Can't wait to see some of the video footage. Maybe, perhaps, we'll put the video footage on here so everyone around here gets to see as well.
Yeah, send us stuff.
So thank you, everyone, for joining with us. Dwayne, we love you. Have a great week. Be safe out there.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Lily, thank you for a great day.
Thank you.
Everyone, have a wonderful Sunday. We'll see you next week with what we're calling the series before the series. It's before the series we're really going to do. We're going to do 3 weeks of some randos. Like you never know what you're going to get over the next 3 weeks. We're calling it the series before we kick off our summer series about fruit. Don't be fruity now. Or maybe it should be fruity. I don't know. We'll talk about it. See you guys.
Fruity.
Bye.